Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. A British bank CEO named Bill Winters, who is the CEO of Standard Chartered, a bank with over $800 billion worth of assets under management, has stated in this interview that XRP is a bridge currency and also says that their operations will, quote, fundamentally, end quote, change, and that as a result of cryptocurrency and more specifically what's going on with central bank digital currencies. But he fully seems to understand the implications of settlement globally utilizing a bridge currency like XRP. Very cool stuff here, and I actually came across this thanks to attorney John Deaton. And there's other stuff to discuss too within this video, but before going any further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Real quick, and I'm going to be brief on this one, but here's a new headline from the Crypto Basic highlighting that attorney John Deaton now has had 71,225 XRP holders sign up to be represented in the SEC versus Ripple case as amici curiae, which just means friends of the court. 71,225. That's astonishing. I just want to mention that. I don't feel the need to actually read the article, but I've been talking about it enough lately anyway. But I just wanted to highlight that. You think we're going to hit 100,000? That would be so cool. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, 71,000, like already, that's absolutely astonishing. But check out this. There was a post, because I want to talk about in terms of like adoption of XRP as a bridge currency, like what might this look like? How is this actually going to unfold? I've always found these concepts to be really interesting. And there's an XRP community member named Anderson who shared a screen grab of a post from Bob Way from March 17th, 2019. Bob Way was one of Ripple's first employees ever. And so he was in from the ground running, and he ended up leaving. Nothing bad happened. I can't remember the exact reason, but he ended up moving on. But he always seemed to have a certain fondness for Ripple and XRP. And back in 2019, he was talking from a conceptual perspective largely, like, what's it going to take for XRP to actually be adopted as a bridge currency? And then upon sharing this screen grab of Bob Way's comment from 2019, Anderson had some thoughts, and I want to expand upon some of this here. But in 2019, former Ripple employee Bob Way said the following. And this may have been on xrpchat.com. I'm guessing. I could be. I'm not sure. I think the format looks like that. But anyway, he said, yes, it is deployable in all markets, including XRapid. So he's talking about XRP, of course. In fact, the small value, high volume payments are optimal for bootstrapping a bridge currency into a new network. Those payments maximize the return on investment for market makers by minimizing their deployed capital. Payment volume being equal. High value corridors require more capital. Low value corridors, less capital. Return on investment is a function of profit divided by capital. And so here, in a general sense, what he's getting at is this idea that if you're a market maker, and a market maker can be a number of things, but specifically, let's just use a real world example. Cryptocurrency exchanges are market makers, right? And you have on-demand liquidity flows today flowing through them. And so they're making it possible for markets to be created between buyers and sellers. So cryptocurrency exchanges, yeah, market makers, including for XRP, certainly, specifically. So why is it attractive for a market maker like a cryptocurrency exchange to participate in on-demand liquidity? Well, the answer is actually pretty obvious once you hear it one simple time. It's because exchanges, their business model is to make money on the buying and selling of cryptocurrency. So if there are more flows of cryptocurrency transactions on their platform because they adopted on-demand liquidity, well, it's a no-brainer. They just make more money on the flows. And on-demand liquidity, it utilizes an automated path-seeking algorithm anyway. It's not like a crazy amount of extra work necessarily for the exchange. But he's noting here that in terms of adoption, what makes most sense, and I've talked about this a number of times. It's been a long time since I've talked about this. But the lower value, and this is what Ripple's going after. It's the lower dollar value transactions, because frankly, that's where some of the most notable friction is anyway. You know, if you think about it, if you're an expatriate and you're sending money back home and say it's $100. Well, how much of that is getting eaten up by fees because of the intermediaries? Well, probably a lot, right? Well, what if you could get that down to the point where anything that's getting eaten up through the transfer flow, it's negligible. It's practically zero. What if you can actually do that? Well, technologically we can. This stuff just needs to ultimately be adopted. But it seems like that would be a more obvious place. And also on top of that, you don't need to have crazy high quantities of liquidity. If you consider daily flows for international payments, the last number I remember off the top of my head, I was actually just mentioning this the other day, I think it's like $5 trillion a day. So with XRP, having a market cap of whatever is 18 billion today, whatever it is, you couldn't handle hardly any of that, right? And so if you're just talking about tackling corridors just to get things going, just get things rolling in terms of bootstrapping, as Bob Way said here, you go after those lower value corridors, but there could be higher frequency in terms of transactions. And then as those fees come down, you actually incentivize more transactions. So you get this kind of snowball effect as a result of that. And then as liquidity increases, especially as crypto in a general sense, as the asset class is adopted, it's going to be way more liquidity. And then you can transfer even greater payments. So you can utilize XRP as a bridge currency to an even more notable degree. And yeah, eventually you can finally get some of these flows that are just, they're too much for the low liquidity of XRP today. But this is not me crapping all over XRP. Like, I think it's incredible what Ripple's pulled off in positioning this, but they can only do so much to make sure that there's sufficient liquidity. They can't do much at all, to be honest with you. Almost nothing. Because XRP moves in tandem with broader crypto markets. That's obvious. And so Anderson here, member of the XRP community, shared that screen grab and said the following. I guess the idea is to start with the smallest payments in the case of on-demand liquidity and then turn up the volume with lots of them. Liquidity will be able to support larger and larger payments that will transfer through on-demand liquidity until larger bank transfers can be supported. It should also mean that market makers will start holding much larger amounts of XRP when the transfers get larger, since you only need to hold enough XRP to cover the transfer size. Yes, ding, ding, ding. And that is a key point. If you're an exchange and you only need to hold X amount for these to facilitate transactions for these smaller corridors, if you're a partner with Ripple, facilitating transactions via on-demand liquidity with XRP as a bridge currency, you only need to have so much XRP on hand. You only need to make sure that there's so much available on your platform. But as you organically grow, then you can do bigger and bigger stuff. And so market makers will be incentivized to hold more and more. And these are people who are already willing to hold crypto. It's not like they're jumping, oh God, what if I jump into this new market and the price of XRP goes to zero? If you're talking about exchanges, they're already in. They've decided that crypto's not going to zero specifically, right? So for them specifically, it's not much of a problem. And then if you're talking about recognition of how valuable this is, there was a video clip, and this is actually first shared in April of what was it here? Let me just click on. Or no, I don't have this open, do I? So it was initially shared by Jack the Rippler on April 21st of this year, and admittedly, I missed this clip. But of course, I'm one man. There's no way I'm gonna literally come across every piece of information. But this is incredible. It was like retweeted thousands of times by people following Jack. And so the reason I came across this is because today, Attorney John Deaton retweeted this video clip. And so I checked it out and I was like, whoa. It's like, I didn't see this one unless I actually forgot it. I don't think I saw this. I have like no recollection of this whatsoever, honestly. And so what I want to do is share with you a transcription of this. It's pretty short, but I want to share with you this transcription because it's from Bill Winters, who is the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, which again has over $800 billion of assets under management, absolutely massive British multinational bank. And he said some very telling things, and like directionally, the way that he seems to recognize it's like it's also in line with what Ripple's vision is in a general sense in terms of, yes, the adoption of central bank digital currencies, but also XRP making interoperability possible because these central bank digital currencies, they're effectively walled gardens. You can't just convert from one to the other. You need to have some sort of relationship set up. And if you don't have a relationship with a bank, and you don't actually need to if you are adopting on-demand liquidity, you need a bridge currency that doesn't have counterparty risk that can be traded on global platforms so that you can convert from one fiat currency to another. And so he's recognizing all this. And again, this has been articulated. This is no secret. This plan has been articulated by Ripple like umpteen million times. And so anyway, it reads as follows. So the host here during this interview on CNBC said the following. You know, we have countries like Switzerland and China all testing out digital currencies. How are you gearing up for the disruption of money with central bank digital currencies? How will it change the way you and other banks operate in the future? And here's what Bill Winters had to say. Probably fundamentally, while we're not formally involved, no foreign banks are involved in the Chinese ECNY. And let me just pause to note the ECNY is the central bank digital currency of China, the digital yuan, right? And then the transcription continues, and Bill Winters says the following. I think we're as close to that as can be to understand how that digital currency can be used for cross-border trade. Going back 5 years, we have digital currency underpinned trade finance and money settlement systems, using things as a medium of exchange, such as Ripple's XRP, for example, as a medium to effect real-time cross-border payments. Folks, this is one of the largest banks on the damn planet, and he's recognizing the actual utility for the use case that Ripple has been espousing for the longest damn time, for the better part of a decade. It's not like this is some sort of made-up fantasy land stuff. Like, it's understood by people at high levels who are in the world of finance as a career and have been for decades. That's where it's at. So if you think it makes sense too, no, you're not Looney Tunes. If you think it makes sense to have a bridge currency with no counterparty risk to convert from one fiat currency to another, no, you're not Looney Tunes. That makes a ton of sense. And so I know that I'm not the only one that missed it. I'm sure some of you listening, you may have seen this clip. But if I missed it, I'm sure a lot of other people did as well, despite the fact that it was liked and retweeted pretty heavily. But Attorney John Deaton, upon today sharing this, he shared some additional thoughts, and he noted the following here. Actually, no, I'm slightly getting ahead of myself. I did want to highlight this. So as far as what Bill Winters said, I'll be brief with this, but this is Ripple's blog series, Ripple Insights. This is from March 3rd of last year. It's titled, Ripple Pilots a Private Ledger for Central Banks Launching Central Bank Digital Currencies. So go back a whole year before that clip that I just transcribed for you. This was being discussed. So Ripple did create a template for central bank digital currencies, and you know what that template is? It's a copy of the open source XRP ledger modified to some degree. So, to more so cater to what a government would want, which means it would be centralized, but yeah, of course, fiat currency centralized. So it's just a new digital form of already digital fiat currency. That's what it is. But there are reasons that there are benefits. It's more efficient. And then, I'm sure, the CCP, they're interested in just tracking every damn thing that happens. So there's different motivating factors there. And those types of things always alarm me. That better not happen in the United States. Assuming we get a central bank digital currency, which seems probable at some point. But the point is, the future's coming here, and this all needs to be tied together, right? And so in this, I'm just going to share a little snippet here so that you're aware, make sure everybody's aware of this. Regarding what they were building here, the central bank digital currency private ledger, that's what it is. They wrote, the central bank digital currency private ledger is based on the same blockchain technology that powers the XRP ledger, which means that the central bank digital currency private ledger is built for payments. This also means the central bank digital currency private ledger is designed for issuing currencies, with over 5,400 currencies issued on the XRP ledger over the past 8 years, including its native digital asset XRP, which can be leveraged as a neutral bridge asset for frictionless value movement between central bank digital currencies and other currencies. There you go. This is not a secret. It's out in the open. Ripple saying right there they want more central bank digital currencies. They want a higher flow of money moving around the planet at a lower cost, because that just makes XRP that much more useful. That's what they're talking about. That is absolutely the case. And so then Attorney John Deaton, upon sharing this today, he said, in 2020, head of assets at Sygnum Bank recommended people invest in the digital assets of the future. Number 1, Bitcoin as a store of value. 2, ETH for infrastructure, and XRP for payments. I agreed then. I agree now. All three will be standing in 5 years. How many other tokens can say that? Yeah, probably not many. You're right. Out of those three, I mean, I'm most confident and optimistic for XRP because of it's just such tremendous real world utility. But I think what John Deaton is saying there makes a ton of sense. So I looked some of this up. Signum Bank, it sounded kind of familiar, maybe like a little bit on the peripheral of like my brain a little bit. And so I looked them up, and this is their website here. It's a bank in, well, you can see it here on the screen, the world's first digital asset bank. That's what they're calling themselves, founded on Swiss and Singapore heritage. I believe they're located in Switzerland. And so the head of assets here, that was the title. That's the guy that Attorney John Deaton was talking about here. On April 30th of 2020, I think this, or maybe it was here. Oh, no, here. Yeah, this is actually what I wanted to pull up here. This is the guy. So I think this is who he's referencing, Fabian Dory. This was actually from January 11th of 2021. So mind you, this is actually after the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit initiated. And still, this was posted, and it certainly didn't shake the head of assets confidence here. And he was saying something that John Deaton says that he heard from this guy back in 2020 before the lawsuit. After the lawsuit, he's saying the same thing. Check this. Tell me if this doesn't sound familiar. It's just like John Deaton's tweet. And again, this is from just weeks after the SEC lawsuit initiated. He wrote 3 simple strategies to invest in cryptocurrencies. I'm just going to read the first one for you, but the first is to invest in the core. And he says, more than 70% of cryptocurrency market capitalization is represented by 3 tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, which have separate and unique use cases. Bitcoin is perceived as a store of value. Ethereum is a smart contract platform, while XRP is a payment network. By investing and trading these tokens, one already gains diversified exposure to the cryptocurrency market. Okay, so to me, that in a general sense just sounds like common sense, right? And I personally think the larger cap coins are less risky than the smaller cap coins. It's not to say there's no risk. There's risk with all of them. But I think that the larger cap coins, like those 3, are less risky than the small cap coins. And that doesn't mean that there's like not crazy opportunity. There's almost no money in XRP. So once things get rolling, I don't care. There's going to be a crazy multiplier effect. I think anyway. That's the bet I'm making. Nobody knows for sure. That's the bet that I'm making, and we will see what happens. But anyway, so I just wanted to highlight that because I just found it interesting. That's who Attorney John Deaton was talking about there. So there's so many reasons to be optimistic for the future. This is not some sort of wacky thing. It's just you can feel beaten down when price goes lower, and then there's this stupid ass Bitcoin maxi trolls, just saying Ripple scam coin 0, just waddling around saying a bunch of nonsense like that, and that's exactly what they sound like. But they're a bunch of unsophisticated, knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing troglodytes with cashew-sized brangs, wearing their Velcro shoes and their helmets so as to protect the little to none brain that's inside their noggin, Like, they can say what they want to say, and they can stay warm to their next to their dumpster fire, living under a bridge, charging Bitcoin transaction fees, which can take days at peak times of transaction and congestion. They can do all that. They can keep doing that. But I don't care they're wrong. People at the highest levels of finance disagree. And it's neat to see that some people like this, like Bill Winters here with Standard Chartered, they get it, seem to get it, and presumably seem to be forward thinking here. Still, most people in the world of finance are not sufficiently informed on crypto in general. So this, to some degree, yes, he's forward thinking, but eventually this is all just going to be the norm. Like, crypto is just going to be a part of daily life. It just is. Let enough time pass, we'll get there, but it's early days here, my friend. There's so much to look forward to in this, but I'll go ahead and wrap up here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.